I wanted to talk to our guests in studio, and I really want to find out from you guys is, let's start with you, Azania, is what should we be doing to promote South Africa, but also just the continent as a whole as a destination for filmmakers?
Going back to the panel before where, everyone, where between Bobby and Ketty, where they were just advocating that from a location perspective, there's nowhere really in South Africa in particular, we have so many different countries within one country, within a 2-hour flight. I mean, you move between, a delta, through to snow, through to, depending on, the kind of climate you need. So in terms of promoting, it really is taking the authenticity of who we are as people, who we are as locations, and taking that to the world, right? And promoting South Africa and the continent as filming destinations of choice and co-producing nations of choice. I mean, at the moment, yes, South Africa doesn't have a co-producing treaty with any other country on the continent, which is a really big boo-boo, as far as I think most of us are concerned on this panel. But is to then take those co-producing treaties that we have about 9, maybe 10, 11 now across the world, and activating them to actually have more participation on the ground. The kind of things that are happening right now, and we do have film authorities, we do have the legislation, although not all of it is perfect. We do have incentives on the ground. We do have various countries, at least about 5 countries that have film commissions that have built enabling environments for filmmakers to thrive, local filmmakers and inbound filmmakers when it comes to servicing and such. But really it is about mitigating elements of risk, promoting the fact that the continent is a safe space to be. The continent is not a dark space to be. The continent is a very cosmopolitan environment. The continent, once, especially from the US, the moment you leave the East Coast, you already start maximizing on a 30% reduction of costs, right? From a point of living expenses, eating expenses, travel expenses, all of those elements that generate in other countries, they're quite expensive. So it's taking the goodness of our continent, the accessibility within the space. It's very accessible to work in Kenya. It's extremely accessible to work in South Africa. It is accessible to work in Namibia. It's just to take away the negativity that we are starting to own as African people and start to take on board the positivities that we have as African people. Other things that we should start doing is taking, especially when it comes to local productions and promoting that films are made within certain countries, is saying to from a legislative point of view and funding point of view is, okay, of the content of the country, what are the top 100 locations, all right? And how do you then ensure that within the film, at least 3 of those top locations are used, right? With their name, to say Nelson Mandela Bridge, Johannesburg, because then that starts to localize and starts to help people recognize that that particular bridge, if it's seen 3, 4, 5, 6 times, that bridge psychologically is in South Africa, right? What does that do? It then speaks to tourism, it starts speaking to other elements, it starts speaking to the multiplier effects for our country. Same thing, when people always look to Africa, they just think it's just wildlife. And yes, it is to a certain degree, but then you've got a lot of cityscapes, you've got a lot of homes, you've got high-end environments that are seen in different spaces. So it's about taking those elements and promoting that. We do participate a lot across the world. Yes, pre-COVID, there was a lot of things that we were doing. We were going to Order Right festivals. We were going to Order Right meetings. Yeah. We were, the DTI was helping us with outbound trips. We were having the right conversations. We were in the right spaces. But it's just, how do we then not become small in that space and thinking that we're from a developing, in inverted commas, environment, because we're not from a developing space. I think our mindset and our competitive edge is far more is far increasing in that. Just to kind of round it up as well, is that not to be scared of yourself, your authenticity of your script, right? I was lamenting to the gents earlier on that, for instance, Star Trek, right? There is a South African girl who's on Star Trek. discovery right now, right? And listening to the accent, you start to realize that our accents are accepted. So if you're going to actually perform, you don't have to try and have a British accent anymore. You don't have to have an American accent. The authenticity of who we are, where our locations are, maximizing our incentives and promoting the incentives and using them to promote the accessibility in our country, those are things that we really must start pushing forward. So it's really about remaining authentic in who we are and not being scared. Just lastly on that, when we started going to Cannes over 15 years ago, we were one of the first of 12 countries that had our national pavilion. Now there's hundreds of countries. But what does that say? It means that the international world are beyond accepting of who we are. They're just saying shine. So that's essentially what we're trying to do is shine.
That's what we need to do. We need to go out there and shine.